For 2 years, the tech world focused on ranking chatbots. But recently, conversations in Silicon Valley have pivoted away from software comparisons. The focus is now on the massive physical machines making them possible. Performance benchmarks for new language models are beginning to level off, with each new iteration offering smaller gains than the last. This suggests that the era of rapid software-only breakthroughs is reaching a plateau, where marginal improvements require massive increases in resources. The real barrier to advancement has shifted to the physical supply chain. Progress is now dictated by the constraints of power grids, cooling systems, and raw silicon. To understand the scale of this shift, look at the recent negotiations between Meta and Anthropic. Meta is reportedly preparing to lease a massive portion of its internal computing capacity to its competitor. This deal represents $10 billion dedicated exclusively to computing power. Compute at this level involves sprawling physical requirements. It requires acquiring large tracts of real estate, tapping directly into regional power grids, and constructing hyperscale data centers spanning millions of square feet. Dominating this industry now requires hoarding physical resources. The artificial intelligence sector has transformed from a digital business back into heavy industry. Why are the dominant American tech labs suddenly pouring billions into concrete and steel instead of software research? The pressure is coming from Chinese AI firms like DeepSeek and Moonshot. These companies are releasing highly capable models at a fraction of the price of their Western counterparts. This chart shows the market reality. The cost of advanced artificial intelligence software is dropping, becoming a cheap commodity. Simultaneously, the capital required to build hardware is skyrocketing. Western labs are retreating to infrastructure, where international competitors cannot afford to compete. Because software is becoming cheap and universally available, these multi-billion-dollar physical hardware clusters are the only remaining defensible advantage for Western tech giants. Consolidating this much computing power creates concentrated zones of extreme capability. These $10 billion installations now hold enough localized power to cause global concern. Google DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis has watched this rapid physical scaling firsthand. He is now calling for the creation of an independent global AI standards body to oversee these frontier systems. The physical footprint and intelligence capacity of these new clusters require international oversight, similar to the treaties that govern the nuclear industry. This massive global scramble for energy and raw silicon eventually funnels down into the devices right in your pocket. We are seeing the first widespread implementation of this scale right now. Apple has opened its Next-Gen Siri to the public through the iOS 27 beta. The user experience is shifting. AI is moving away from being a standalone destination, like a chatbot website, and becoming an invisible background layer of the operating system. This seamless, invisible experience relies entirely on the massive hardware scaling and software commoditization happening in those $10 billion server farms. The release of the Apple iOS 27 beta is the consumer-facing endpoint of the global infrastructure war. We are entering an era built on a sharp contrast, an ecosystem of cheap, international software powered by highly guarded, multi-billion-dollar Western hardware. When a user asks Siri a simple question, they activate a local interface, triggering the endpoint of a $10 billion geopolitical battle for physical computing power.